Hello, I'm Brian Turnbull, founder of Peer-to-Peer Mindfulness, and I'm grateful to have been asked today by the Eric Liddell Centre as part of their Wellbeing Project to bring you again some short mindfulness practices which you can use anytime in your day. Throughout our lives, many of us will experience times where we find ourselves lost in our own thoughts. We might find that we're so busy making plans, going from task to task, going from one place to the next and pushing forward in lots of different directions, that we don't really take the time to reflect and notice the world around us. At other times in our lives, we might find that we aren't very busy in the same way, but are occupying our minds with doing nothing. We can find ourselves worrying about the future and being bogged down with unhealthy thoughts and negative feelings. And in both cases, we can find ourselves just not taking the time to pay attention to the present moment, the here and now. By taking notice of and being in the present moment, we can all improve our personal well-being psychologically and physically. So if you're a busy person like me, you can use these simple mindfulness exercises to detach from the busy mind and find some much needed calm amidst the madness of a hectic day. I'm often asked by people, what is a simple mindfulness strategy, a practice that I can use throughout my day to help ground and center myself, to not be caught up in worrying thoughts? So today I'd like to give you a taste of what living mindfully during the day is like. I'm going to introduce you to a mindfulness practice which I use regularly in addition to my formal meditation practices. It's called mindful snacking, and it's a great mindfulness practice to use with kids and adults and everybody in between. With this mindful snacking practice, we simply pay attention to the present moment of eating. And while we're doing this practice, our mind might buzz with thoughts, and that's okay. So when that happens, we just notice that that is what is happening. And then we gently guide the awareness of our mind back to the eating. So can I invite you to try this short mindfulness practice with me now? And just be curious about what happens and what you notice. Okay, so great. Then I'd like to invite you to go and get yourself a single raisin like this from your kitchen, or a small piece of fruit. If you've not got either, then a piece of biscuit or something will do. It doesn't really matter. So just pause this video for a moment right now while you go and get a small piece of food such as a single raisin. And I'll just sit and wait here for you. Okay, so welcome back. Now, with this mindfulness snacking practice, instead of eating food mindlessly, putting food into our mouths almost unconsciously, not really tasting the food that we're eating, we're going to be bringing our awareness, our attention to noticing our thoughts, noticing our feelings and body sensations as we eat. The mindful snacking meditation is a mindful exercise that asks you to focus your mind on the present moment, using all your senses. And there's one essential general instruction on this exercise. It is, try to keep the awareness of your mind at all times on the raisin. Notice if the attention of your mind wanders away into thinking about something else, including thinking about how or what you're eating. That's all okay. And whenever you find that your mind has wandered from being focused on eating, just simply gently guide your attention back to the piece of food that you're experiencing as you eat it. So we can start by just placing the piece of food in the palm of the hand, letting it sit there, and just find a way of sitting that feels comfortable and stable, with the feet flat on the floor. And then taking a few deeper breaths to help you loosen the body and bring the mind to the practice. So breathing in deeply Holding the breath for a moment and then gently releasing the breath. Slowly now. Feeling the body settle into the seat. And then repeating with another deep breath. Holding it and slowly releasing the breath. And then just letting the breath come back to normal again. And once you're comfortable, just bringing your attention, to land on the piece of food that's resting in the palm of your hand. Perhaps you can feel the weight of it. And now just picking up that piece of food and holding it between the finger and the thumb. And just looking at this piece of food, just really focusing on it. Yeah. Focusing on it. In fact, imagining that you've just dropped in from Mars. You've never seen anything like this before, like this piece of food. So taking time to really see it. Gaze at the piece of food. Study it with full care and full attention. Let the eyes just examine every part of it. Perhaps the areas, the highlights where the light is catching it on its surface. Examining any darker hollows. Any different textures on the surface. Its folds and its ridges. Any different colours it has across its surface. So really examining it. All its unique shapes and features. And now just closing the eyes gently to enhance the sense of touch. And just turning the piece of food over in the fingers. Exploring its texture with the touch of the fingers. Perhaps even squeezing it a little, just notice what that's like. And when you're doing this, if thoughts are arising, such as, why am I doing this? Or how can this help me? Then just notice that you've recognized that these thoughts have arisen. And then just let them be and guide the attention gently back to feeling the touch of the fingers on the raisin or the piece of food that you're holding between the fingers. Just witnessing that feeling, not thinking about it, feeling it. And now holding that piece of food beneath the nostrils, still with the eyes closed. And with each inhalation, just drinking in any smell or aroma, fragrance that might be arising from the piece of food. And just noticing as you do this, anything interesting that might be happening in the stomach or the mouth. And then slowly bringing this piece of food towards the lips. Noticing how the hand and arm know exactly how and where to position the food by the lips. And then, without chewing it, gently placing the piece of food into the mouth. Noticing how it gets into the mouth in the first place. And spending a few moments exploring the sensations of having this piece of food in the mouth. So really explore it with the tongue. Noticing the taste of this piece of food without chewing it. And then, when you're ready, just preparing to chew the piece of food. Noticing how and where in the mouth it needs to be chewed. And then very consciously, just taking 1 or 2 bites into the piece of food and noticing what happens in the aftermath of that. Experiencing any waves of taste that arise from it as you continue chewing. And without swallowing it yet, just be noticing the bare sensations of taste and texture in the mouth, and how these might be changing over time, moment by moment. As well as noticing any changes taking place in the shape of the piece of food itself. And when you feel ready to swallow the piece of food, seeing firstly if it's possible to detect the intention to swallow as that comes up, so that even this is experienced consciously before the piece of food is actually swallowed. And then finally, seeing if it's possible to feel what's left of the piece of food moving down into the stomach and sensing how the body as a whole is feeling right now. After completing this exercise in mindful snacking. And so there you go. That's the mindful snacking meditation. Perhaps you could take a moment now to just congratulate yourself for taking the time to experience mindful snacking. And now that you've finished, I invite you to just reflect and ask yourself, what did you notice about the feeling of the raisin in your fingers? What did you notice about how you saw the raisin or the piece of food you were eating? What did you notice about the smell of the food? What did you notice about the taste of the piece of food you were snacking on? And what did you notice about thoughts? What did you notice about how you felt in the body? In fact, what do you notice about how you feel right now, in this moment? Do you feel calmer? Could you want to be just a little bit more calm? Well, if you want, if you have the time, you can do this simple mindfulness practice every time that you're eating a snack. Paying close attention through all the senses of sight, touch, smell, taste, to how it feels to eat your food. It doesn't really need to take much more than a minute to do. And people are often telling me afterwards how much it helps them in their day to be practicing exercises like mindful snacking, when they notice that their mind is busy with thoughts and they want to settle it down. Now, this is just a taste of what mindfulness is all about. It's an effective mindfulness technique that we can use to ground ourselves back in the present moment when we find ourselves caught up in thoughts, ruminating about the past, or anxiously worrying about the future. I know that you can do this. So try it out anytime you've got literally a minute. Start making it a habit to practice it. Introduce it to your family and friends. You could even bookmark this YouTube webpage to make it easy to share with people. And if you want to know more about how mindfulness can help enhance your well-being, then drop us an email or jump straight across to the Peer-to-Peer Mindfulness website. So I'm Brian Turnbull. Thank you for being here today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the calm that's possible in each moment. Goodbye.